Hello, everybody. I'm Sophia Parola with Garden State Film Festival, and I have the pleasure of interviewing the people behind the making of I Wanna Be an Eagle, which is a short animated film music. I'm not exactly sure how to, it's a lot of things, but it is awesome, and I would love for them to talk about it more than I could talk about it.
You could call it
So
an animated music video. I think that's probably the best way to
animated
describe
music video. That's what I was hinting at. So, and it's called I Want to Be an Eagle, and I would love to meet the people behind it. Let's start off with Joe. Can you guys introduce yourself and your title in the film and a little bit of background about yourself? Joe, take it away.
Yeah, well, I'm obviously the creator. I've never grown up. I'm still the kid that I've always been. And crazy enough, about 7 years ago, I went back. I've always been able to play the guitar. I've been playing since I'm 10. And I gave up music more like as far as a career and became a forensic accountant, CPA. So I went back to Berkeley and I was in my backyard and my wife yells down and goes, "I can't believe you're going back to school for music." And I said, "No, I really want to do this. I really want to learn about music. I think I want to learn to teach it, in a different way." And this little sparrow flies and lands on my head, literally in my backyard. And I'm like sitting there looking up and going, "No, there's not a bird on my head." And my wife goes, "There's a bird on your head." I go, "I know." So welcome to the world of A Sparrow's Tale. So since that day, there's been 20 songs written, a full 27 chapter book. You're talking about my animation. And it's just been an incredible journey. I mean, it's a dream come true. And it's, my whole belief is that your dreams never stop. They only stop if and it was always my dream to do something like this. And then now it's a reality because the persistence, and then you're fortunate to run into a Mike Andrew and a Mark Simon and a Jeff Sheets. And all of a sudden your dream becomes actually in front of you and she's alive. I mean, her in the form of, which I keep her here. She's always with me, as my stuffed animal, Petronia. To all the crazy things we've done, where we have like bubble wand wish hits, where excuse me, the recorder, but little things like, and the idea is that to get kids always wishing, and like and the idea of the bubble, like the wish it landing on her nose, kind of like inciting a dream, that we all want to dream and just believe in ourselves. So it's been an incredible journey. So you heard the music. I mean, the production of the music is second to none, and I attribute that to Mike and the hours. People hear this music and they think I wrote the song in one day, but it's not. It's a song where you write the lyrics, put it down, then you go back and you look at it again, and you keep working at it. It's not, a song doesn't just come. And we were talking about this morning on something else. It's an inspiration from 60 years old. So my music has 60 years old of history. So I remember like being a 10-year-old and what it was like. And I don't think music is taught to kids like it should be. It's always like you have to be a virtuoso. Well, we want the kid that not to leave music. We want them, you don't have to be the virtuoso. And the reason I picked the recorder is it's one of the few instruments where you use a lot of hand movement and breath at the same time. Not to mention it's a cheap instrument to buy and practice with. So
accessible to kids.
Yeah, and we want to teach kids music, like not just guitars and drums. We want them to hear the big orchestra. I'll let Mike talk about that because he can bring much more to that. But the idea is to just keep kids in an age group of 6 to 10 involved in music and not make a 10-year-old think like a 14-year-old, let them think like a 10-year-old. And if you look at the video, and it's funny because I never imagined this video winning awards, I wanted the person watching it to feel like they were flying. So if you notice, you swoop down a hill and then all of a sudden you're majestically flying over the big city. So it was designed, ironically, to be like a video game. So it's kind of like a video game, a story. And the great thing about it is when I get a 6 or 7-year-old walking up to me, like my friends that have watched it, or people that watch it, they always say to me, "What's she going to do next? What's Petronia going to do next?" So I think it's pretty cool that, we're giving to kids, that I feel need to hear good music. So Mike, you wanted to kind of add to that? Because, you're...
Well, I'm the music producer. My name is Michael Andrew, and my background is more in retro music, stuff that you might hear in the 40s and 50s, and also orchestra music, music that's played by a large ensemble, symphonic orchestra or big band. So when I met Joe, I realized that he really wanted to have songs that could reveal the emotions of the characters, their wants, their needs, their hopes, their aspirations, as well as just the character's nature, you know. So some characters might be more whimsical than others, some might be dreamy. So I advised or recommended that we use a large orchestra, even though these songs are, they're pop rock type songs with a groove that's created by a little rock band, like guitar, bass, drums, keyboard. But then we have in the background, a large orchestra that includes French horns, violins, flutes, clarinets, things like that. So that's how we develop these songs, and the song that is the score, if you will, for the video, I Want to Be an Eagle, is one of the first songs that Joe and I developed together. I mean, he had the song written, he had a version that was done by a Nashville group of excellent pop hit type musicians. And he said to me, that's not what I want. I want something that sounds more like what you'd see in a animation, like a Disney animation or Pixar film. So I said, there's a reason that they're using big orchestras for the scores of films and for these features. It isn't just because they love the sound of a big orchestra. It's because it has a great potential to reveal the emotions of the characters.
Wow, and I'd love to know. So you had a big orchestra with this song, and by the way, that was stuck in my head after I saw the video. It's a catchy song. Yeah, so I would love to know just the process of recording this song. I know you said that Joe wrote it, and then you guys kind of discussed what you were feeling about it. Like, what was the length? What was the process like of you having this book and then thinking you wanted to make a song and making the music video? What was the steps? What was the process like for you guys?
Well, when we started developing Joe's songs, we didn't have this video directly in mind. He just had a lot of songs. Came to me with at least 8 songs, right, Joe? And that's how we started our relationship. I started developing the orchestrations and recordings that I have a lot of tools in my studio that I'm able to simulate very accurately large orchestras. And then I will use some live musicians, but a lot of it is what we call samples. They're used in television now and films to recreate a live orchestra without actually going into a soundstage and having the huge orchestra. So a lot of this stuff is done in that way. There's a few live musicians on it. In particular, there's an excellent recordist, I guess you'd call her. She's a multi-instrumentalist. Her name's Gunhild Carling. She's got millions of followers on her social media, and she's known for Postmodern Jukebox.
I love them.
She does the song Happy on Postmodern Jukebox, and she sings, she plays 3 trumpets at once at the end. She's just incredible. One of the most amazing musicians I've ever met. And also singer. And we've toured together, actually, and performed together. And so I knew her, and I knew that she had this incredible, unique skill of playing the recorder, which is an instrument that we don't think of as being virtuistic. I mean, something that's complicated. We think of very simple melodies, but the way Gunhild plays it, it's just incredible. So I knew we had to put her on there because the recorder is one of the signature instruments. It's kind of Petronia's instrument. So we wanted the sound of the recorder in there, and you'll hear it throughout in solos and things. And you also hear flutes, French horns, violins, I think we have harmonica in there, don't we, Joe?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Harmonica is another one of the sort of trademark instruments of a sparrow's tail because of its whimsical nature and its soulfulness. So we like to use the harmonica to convey some expressions. But there's even some unusual use of instruments, like in the beginning, she's yawning, and to mimic that yawn, you'll hear a trombone that sort of plays this sound of a yawn. And then at one point, her brother sort of teases her and does like a raspberry sound, you know, and so I have a trumpet that's imitating that sound, the way a trumpet player would imitate that. So the whole idea.
But Mike, talk about how like we're always like the amount of time that goes into like those little details.
Oh yeah, the details are always.
Like, don't make them sound like it's a matter. You're sitting there and Mike's patience. When I don't have it, when I'm at my DAW, I can't ever imagine being at it. Like he'll actually play with the articulations in the instrument to get that. You don't just get that sound. Like when he's telling you there's a sample, he tweaks those samples because to mimic that with it's not something you do in 5 minutes. So
it does take, sometimes I'll spend 2 or 3 hours on one note. It's not just because I'm trying to get the expression that, I mean, it would actually be more efficient to hire a player. But the advantage of having the samples is that we can compose as we're creating it, and we can try things and change things, and we don't have a musician in a studio that's on the clock as these things are evolving. So that's how the process works with using those tools. But what I was going to say is the great thing about having these instruments from the symphonic orchestra is that we're exposing children to a big variety of musical instruments. That's a big part of Joe's vision, and it's a big part of the goal of this material is to get kids exposed to this whole big collection of instruments.
Absolutely. It seems like sorry about that.
You muted yourself there.
Yeah, it seems like kids are not only exposed just to the music and the wide range of instruments they can use, but just also the video and the movement, like you mentioned, Joe, and like kind of a perspective of an eagle and all this creativity. It's really awesome. And that's amazing. We get to see the making behind of it, because you watch this animated music video that is about like 3 minutes and you don't notice how much time that takes and all the details and how carefully crafted it is. And that's just so amazing that you guys get to show us a little bit of that today.
And the cost, there's a significant cost to an animation of that quality. You're talking CG quality animation, because you have to rig the characters. They have to actually be built. They have to put bones in them, like so they can move. Like, it's not just like a 2D animation. So it's like literally you sit there and you draw out the character and you have to like get it. They actually call it rigging, and they build it so that she can move. And if you notice things like her hair moving and those things can take hours to develop. So it's very, very expensive, very proposition. It's only 3 minutes, but it's very expensive. But the reason why I did it so, expensive was because I envisioned it as a video game. So I wanted to make sure the quality was there. But an animation like that, if I was to do an episode of an animation, let's say we would do typically can do 11 minutes, you're probably talking, at least $1 million to do an animation.
Oh my God.
Yeah, to get to that level animation. And build, and again, the more places you go, the more costly it is, because each place has to be built. So, but
I think it was important. It was important to Joe's vision because he wanted the kids to feel like they were really in that world, especially when it comes to the flying. If he would have approached it with 2D and, then it would just feel like a cartoon, and we wanted it to feel like a real world so that children would, feel like they're really flying and they're really in this alternate universe, if you will.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, we're wrapping up in the last like 2 minutes, guys, but I really want to ask you, because I know we were mentioning before the interview started that this festival, which it deserves, I mean, not this festival, this animated video, which I hope as it sees as many eyes as it can, and a lot of people get to see all this hard work you put into it. It has been to, sounds like almost around the world and a lot of festivals. I would love to ask you, why Garden State Film Festival? Why is it so important for them to see this at Garden State Film Festival, and what your hopes are for this animated music video?
I live in New Jersey, so for me, this is important to reach out to the kids in New Jersey, because I feel the arts are suffering dramatically in the school systems and stuff like that. So I'm going to do everything in my power, both as a creator, as a tax-paying person in New Jersey, as any politician that, you know, we have some political people I reach out to all the time. I want the arts to be an important part of kids' lives, and then to do that, you can't make like 8, 7, 6, 10, 9. Think they're going to be the next virtuoso. They got to understand there's time you have to put in, but we want to make it fun. So one of the big underlying things I like to do is I have like a 3-string guitar that's in the shape of a shovel. I have crazy instruments that we're going to actually draw a lizard, and might bring you up to speed on a guerrero, which is a wood instrument that they play in Latin music. Yeah. So I envision creating instrumentations that kids don't have to sit in a band to play, that they just play music. And music takes all forms. It could be just the tapping of your hands, snapping of your fingers, your voice. So my dream, and what's great about being on Garden State, is being my home state, trying to promote music and the arts for our kids and get them to realize the importance. Look, I'm 60 and it's still part of my life. It started at a 10. So for 50 years, I've been picking up that instrument. I now play the piano. I now play the harmonica. I've always played the recorder. You know, I play the bass. So it's like, when I was growing up, oh, you got to play one instrument. No, you play whatever you want. You sing, you dance, you do whatever you have to do. You know, music doesn't have to be perfect. And I don't want it to ever be perceived as perfect. The mere fact that you try is more than enough. So I think being in my home state and getting the opportunity to promote it here.
I married a Jersey girl, so I love New Jersey.
That is so amazing, guys. Well, I'm so happy you decided to go to Garden State and that it means so much to you. And yes, it is home to so many people. And Joe perfectly said that unfortunately, the arts really do suffer, especially now, not a lot of people investing in it in schools, and especially music. It is so important in kids' lives to grow up with art and creativity and to express themselves. And I think this music video is such a great way to bring that to children's life and to anyone's life. Even someone who is my age or 60 years old can be reminded of the spirit and the fun and the creativity that this video can bring. So Sophie, congratulations, guys.
And Sophie, the other idea that just I want is the extended family now. We have much more extended family with grandparents working with the kids and stuff like that. I just fortunate, I'm a grandfather now for 5 months, first grandchild. And I was always saying to myself, I cannot listen to all that music. I have to put music out there that as a grandparent, I want to sit with my child and get a value out. And my little 5-month-old grandchild with his little Einstein music thing, and I'm like showing him color, shape, and sound at 5 months. When he gets to be like 6 or 7, hopefully his ears developed. So he appreciates what Mike's talking about, hearing that unique instrument in the background instead of that same old music, which is fine, but I want him to hear that other beauty that's out there. And I think it's really, really important.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much. I'm sure we could talk all day about this because you guys are so passionate and obviously put so much work and time into this and money. And I'm just so happy that this is getting, it sounds like just the start of what it deserves to get, which is eyes and appreciation and just a lot of love. So I really hope that people can take the time to watch I Want to Be an Eagle. It will be premiering Saturday the 27th virtually at the venue of the Mayfair, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So definitely everyone should watch this with the kids, with the little ones, by themselves. It doesn't matter. I really hope that so many people get to watch and appreciate this because it really does deserve all of that love and appreciation. And congratulations.
Thank you for having us, Sophie. Appreciate this.
Thank you.
Very, very much.
Thank you guys so much.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. We'll see you soon. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.